The blindfold was too tight. Her pulse thudded against the cloth as the truck bounced along the dirt road, her wrists chafing raw against the zip ties. The scent of diesel, dust, and sweat clung to the air, thick and choking. No one spoke, just the low murmur of corridors from a cheap radio and the occasional cough from the front seat. They had no idea. She heard the truck slow. Gravel popped beneath the tires, doors slammed, then a hand yanked her out. "Let's go, Senora." A voice young and cocky pushed her forward. Her boots hit dry earth, cactus, mesquite, somewhere in the Sierra Madre. She knew this terrain like she knew the lines of her own face. They were deep into Sinaloa now, and they thought she was afraid. Let them. They guided her inside what felt like a warehouse, hot, metallic, the air stale with mold and old blood. The smell made her stomach clench, not from fear, but memory. Someone tore the blindfold off. The first thing she saw was the cartel's symbol, spray-painted on a cement wall. A scorpion with a bleeding rose. Underneath, a man sat on a folding chair, legs spread wide, a pistol resting casually in his lap. "You're the rancher's wife, huh?" he said, eyeing her like a pawn on a board he thought he owned. "Don Manuel's lady." She didn't answer. Her eyes swept the room. 2 exits, 3 men, one with a twitchy finger and a neck tattoo of Santa Muerte. Weak links. She could feel it. "You know what your husband did," the man continued. "He let his cattle graze on land that's not his, our land, and now, well, your leverage." She shifted her weight. "You think Manuel's going to pay you?" He smirked. "He will, or he'll get you back piece by piece." She smiled then, slow, quiet, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. The man blinked. Something unsettled flickered in his gaze. "You don't know who I am, do you?" she asked softly. "You're his wife. Some ranchers—" "No, I'm La Vibera." The room went still. Neck Tattoo's face went pale. Another guard stepped back. The boss's smirk vanished. "La Vibera's dead," he said, voice now brittle. She stepped forward, shoulders square, blood calm. "You sure about that?" For a long second, no one moved. The warehouse seemed to shrink, and then a sound, the snapping of zip ties against rusted metal as her hands came free. She moved faster than any of them expected. A swift kick to Neck Tattoo's knee, a headbutt to the one by the door. The pistol flew from the boss's lap as she spun and grabbed it mid-air. In 5 seconds, it was over. They had kidnapped the wrong woman. They had kidnapped her. Blood was still dripping from the pistol barrel when she turned toward the only one still breathing. "Name," she said coldly. The youngest of the 3, barely old enough to shave, pressed himself against the wall. His chest rose and fell in rapid jerks, eyes locked on the gun. I didn't know, Senora," he stammered. "They just told me to drive." "You said my husband was on your land." Her voice was flat. "Which cartel?" The kid hesitated. That was mistake number 1. She stepped closer. He flinched, dropping to his knees. "Dios mío, it's the Beltran crew, out of El Fuerte. I swear I'm just a runner. Please, I've got nothing to do with this." Her eyes narrowed. Beltran. That name hadn't crossed her path in years. A new boss must be trying to stake territory, and that was dangerous because they clearly didn't know the rules, or the ghosts that still haunted the valleys of Sinaloa. "Tell your patron," she said, voice cutting through the stale air, "that La Vibera is back, and I'm not burying men like I used to. I'm burning them." She tossed the pistol at his feet and turned her back on him. "Go." He didn't wait for permission twice. As she walked past the bodies, her boots echoing on the concrete, she felt the silence settle behind her like a curtain. She moved with the calm of someone who'd once commanded entire towns through fear, through legend. But those days were supposed to be over. She had buried that life under cattle, soil, and Sunday Mass. Manuel didn't even know the half of it. He thought she was just good at reading people, good at negotiating, and had survived a rough youth. That was the version she gave him when they met in Sonora. When he asked about the scar across her ribs, she told him a bull had gored her. He never asked again. Outside, the sun was climbing, casting gold over the dust-swept hills. She found the truck and unlocked, keys still in the ignition. Inside the glove box, she discovered a burner phone. 1 bar of service. Enough. She called a number she hadn't dialed in 8 years. It rang once. "You're not supposed to call this line," said a voice, feminine, sharp, and sleep deep. "They came for me," she replied. "Beltran crew." A pause. "Are you compromised?" "No, but they know where we are. I need intel." Another pause. Then, "You know what it means if you come back." "I'm not back," she said quietly. "I'm just tying up loose ends." The voice gave her a location, then hung up. She tossed the phone into the brush and started the engine. The mountains loomed in the distance, silent, ancient, and full of secrets. She could almost hear them whispering her name again. La Vibera, the one they thought was gone. The ranch looked the same. Rows of agave stretched into the horizon, and the horses neighed softly in their corral. Manuel's old dog Tigre barked once from the porch, then wagged his tail as she approached. He never questioned her. Dogs were smarter than most men. She parked the truck behind the barn. Her clothes were stained, blood at the sleeve, dust in every seam. She peeled them off inside the tool shed and wrapped herself in an old denim jacket that still smelled faintly of Manuel's cologne. Her hands trembled slightly, but not from fear. It was the weight of re-entry, switching skins again. By the time she walked through the front door, Manuel was in the kitchen sipping coffee, flipping through a cattle inventory sheet. He looked up and smiled. "There you are. You left before sunrise. Everything okay at the lower pasture?" She nodded. "Fence is holding, but I saw signs of wild dogs near the edge. I'll set traps later." He stood and walked over, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "Always handling things. What would I do without you?" She forced a smile, if only he knew. "I'm going to shower," she said, already moving toward the stairs. "Need help?" he called after her, teasing. "Not this time," she said, but her tone was already far away. Inside the bathroom, she locked the door and let the hot water scald the silence off her. Steam fogged the mirror as she watched her reflection emerge. Wet hair, tired eyes, a scar that never quite healed. The woman staring back wasn't a rancher's wife. She was someone else entirely, someone she'd buried. La Vibera. She had chosen this life, chosen Manuel, the ranch, the quiet. She'd traded bullets for fence posts, surveillance for sunsets, and for nearly a decade, it had worked. But now they had found her. They always do. That night, while Manuel snored gently beside her, she slipped out of bed and into the office. The safe was hidden behind a painting of San Judas Tadeo. Only she knew the combination. She opened it slowly. Inside, beneath the property deeds and legal documents, was a small wooden box wrapped in oilcloth. She pulled it out. Within it lay a Glock 19, 2 magazines, and a photograph. 3 women in military gear, faces young, eyes hard. She stared at the one in the center. Alicia, her only true friend, her only real sister. Dead now, thanks to the Beltran crew. She reassembled the gun with methodical precision, every click a meditation. As the last piece slid into place, she whispered, "I warned them." No second chances. Outside, wind swept across the plains, rustling the leaves like whispers. Somewhere out there, a storm was building. And this time, she wouldn't run from it. She'd walk straight into the eye. Culiacan was hotter than hell and twice as tense. The kind of place where glances lingered too long and conversations ended in whispers. She hadn't been back in years, but the city hadn't changed. Not really. Just more glass in the buildings, more bodies buried under concrete. She wore sunglasses and a baseball cap low over her face. It wouldn't fool anyone who mattered, but it might delay recognition long enough to finish what she came to do. The meeting point was a rundown cantina near the bus terminal, its green paint peeling like scabbed skin. She stepped inside. Dim light, humid air, and the unmistakable stench of tequila and sweat. A jukebox played old Pedro Infante tracks, and 2 drunks argued about soccer in the corner. She spotted him instantly. Same slouch, same broken nose. El Güero. Once a lookout, now a street-level broker for information. If anyone knew where Beltran's new base was, it'd be him. He saw her and froze mid-sip. His beer bottle trembled on the table. "Holy shit," he breathed. "You're supposed to be..." Dead. I know. She sat across from him. Lucky for you, I'm not. I heard what happened. The crew that grabbed you, they're gone? They were sloppy. He stared, eyes wide with fear and something like awe. People still talk about you, you know, the way you cleaned out that safe house in Mazatlan, how you... Not here for stories, Guerrero. She leaned in. I need a name. Who's running Beltran's new push? Who gave the order to grab me? He hesitated. She reached under the table and tapped the Glock against his knee. Please, he whispered. It's not just one boss anymore. They split after El Zurdo got clipped. Some say the one calling shots now is El Tizon. She blinked. No, that couldn't be. El Tizon, she repeated slowly. Yeah, Guerrero nodded. Used to be Alicia's driver, remember? Skinny kid. Real name's Samuel Ortega. But now he's not a kid anymore, took over fast, ruthless, and he hates you. She sat back, stunned. Alicia had trusted him, treated him like a little brother, and now he was running Beltran? Everything twisted inside her. If he'd ordered the kidnapping, it wasn't just a power play, it was personal. Where is he, she asked. Guerrero scratched his jaw. Somewhere near Schwa. Word is he's set up in the hills, big compound, tight security. I'll find it. You go after him, Guerrero said carefully. You won't be able to come back. This isn't just some payback job. This is a war. She stood. Then I'll end it before it begins. Outside, night had fallen. Heat still clung to the pavement. As she crossed the street, her phone buzzed once. A single message, no name. He knows you're coming. Good. Let him wait. The Sierra foothills near Schwa weren't meant for the faint of heart. Narrow dirt paths clung to the mountainside, one wrong turn from a 1,000-foot drop. Scrub brush and pine clawed at the truck as she crept higher, her eyes scanning the switchbacks for glints of metal, motion, anything. La Vibera was hunting. She parked half a mile out from the coordinates Guerrero had whispered, covered the truck with a tarp and dry branches, then started on foot. The air was thin, the silence unsettling, the kind of silence that meant rifles were watching from the trees. But none fired. They didn't see her. She moved like the wind and invisible, constant creeping. Her boots barely disturbed the soil. Just past a ridge, she spotted it, a concrete hacienda wrapped in chain link and razor wire, drone perched on the roof like a mechanical vulture. Men with assault rifles patrolled the perimeter, eyes lazy in the dusk light. Too confident. One of them was smoking beside the rear fence, distracted, back-turned. She was on him before he could blink, knife to his throat, then down and out without a sound. One problem with taking over a cartel too fast. Your men forget how to respect fear. And no one feared El Tizon the way they once feared her. She slipped through a blind spot, scaled the fence and dropped into shadow. Inside the compound, it smelled of diesel, sweat, and charred meat. Music thumped faintly from a speaker in one of the rear garages. In the courtyard, a group of guards laughed around a barrel fire, passing a bottle of mezcal. Too relaxed, no discipline. El Tizon was getting sloppy. She ducked behind a shed and checked her pistol. One mag, clean shot. She needed to find him fast. Then she heard it. Not his voice, but something worse. A scream, muffled, sharp. Coming from a concrete outbuilding near the back wall. She crept closer, heart racing now, not from fear, but recognition. She had heard that scream before, 15 years ago. Alicia. Inside the building, tied to a chair, barely conscious, was a woman in her 50s. Her face was bruised, lips swollen, but her eyes, they were the same. Alicia. Alive. Mierda, she whispered. The door behind her creaked. She spun, gun raised, but too slow. A figure stepped out of the shadows. Young, lean, with eyes full of hate and certainty. Samuel. El Tizon. I knew you'd come, he said, raising his hands slowly. I kept her alive for you. Her hands trembled on the grip. You killed her. You said, I lied, he smirked, just like she lied to me. But I want you to see the truth before I bury you. She stared at him. The boy who once begged her for candy, who watched Alicia with reverence, now a monster. And the line between past and present shattered. You don't have to do this, she said quietly, gun still aimed, heart thundering beneath her ribs. El Tizon smiled with the slow certainty of a man who'd waited years for this moment. "No, T, I want to." The word hit like a slap. "I called you that once," he went on, stepping closer. "You and Alicia, you were my family, until you left me in that warehouse, until I found her beaten, bleeding, while you disappeared into the sunset with a new life and a new name. I thought she was dead. Then you should have come back to bury her." Her hand twitched on the trigger. Behind him, Alicia stirred. Her mouth opened, dry and cracked. Don't listen to him." Samuel's jaw clenched. "She betrayed us both. Thought I wasn't strong enough. But I built something bigger than you ever had, Vibra. I made them listen. I made them afraid." She stepped sideways, slow and steady. They were near the tool rack now. Blades, chains, even a blowtorch. "You kidnapped me," she said. "You used her to draw me in. This was never about revenge." He shrugged. "It's about finishing what you started." Then he lunged. The gun went off, once, wild, ricocheting off metal. They crashed to the floor, her elbow slamming into his ribs, his fingers clawing for her wrist. He was strong, but rage made him sloppy. She jammed her knee into his gut, twisted, and smashed the pistol across his temple. He slumped, dazed. Breathing hard, she grabbed a wrench and stood over him. "I should kill you." He spit blood. "Then do it." She hesitated. The past roared in her ears. Alicia's laugh, his little boy voice, the smell of gunpowder and rain in Mazatlan. Alicia's voice broke through it all. "No more death." She looked at her. "Get her out," Alicia rasped. "We finish this together." She bound Samuel's hands with zip ties and gagged him. No ceremony, no grace. Outside, gunfire crackled in the distance. A distraction, or reinforcements. They had minutes. She dragged Alicia's frail body over her shoulder, ignoring the pain, the old scar tearing anew. They slipped through the darkened edge of the compound, blood soaking her shirt where Alicia's arm hung limp across her neck. Past the first bend, headlights flared. Guero's battered pickup roared to a stop. He jumped out, rifle raised. "Where is he?" "Still breathing," she said. "But this isn't over." He nodded grimly and helped lift Alicia into the truck. As they sped down the mountain, tires spitting gravel, she looked back. Flames licked the sky behind them. She hadn't started the fire. Someone else had. And in the orange glow, she saw figures moving, not Beltran men, but others. Watching. Waiting. The war had already begun. The safe house in Los Mochis was buried behind layers of mango groves and silence. Old friends still owed her favors, and even older ones still feared her name. The three of them, La Vibra, Alicia, and Guero, holed up behind steel doors while the sun rose on a bloodier Mexico than the one she'd tried to leave behind. Alicia lay on a cot, a needle in her arm, pain meds dulling her voice. "You should have killed him," she whispered, eyes unfocused. "I don't kill for closure," La Vibra replied. "Only for necessity." Guero watched them from the corner, tension coiled in his frame. "Word is, the Beltran crew is panicking. Your name's back on radios. Half think you're a ghost." "And the other half?" she asked. "They're packing up, moving east." She nodded. "Good. Let them run. But Samuel, he's still mine." Alicia stirred. "You don't owe me this. I chose to stay behind, to protect him." "You protected the wrong one," La Vibra said, not unkindly. Alicia's voice cracked. "He was just a boy. We all were something before this life turned us into something else." That night, while Alicia slept and Guero stood watch, she opened her notebook. Inside were names, old routes, stash houses, contacts. A forgotten map of the underworld she once ruled. Her fingers traced the ink, recalling every alley ambush, every loyalty paid in blood. Samuel hadn't just drawn her out. He'd tried to rewrite her legacy, to make himself the new fear. But fear built on fire always burns itself out. At dawn, a call came in. Guero passed her the phone, grim-faced. They found him. She took it. "Where?" "San Ignacio, small airfield. He's trying to flee to Guatemala alone." She hung up and stood. "Watch her," she told Guerrero. "This ends today." He didn't argue. The drive was quiet. Orange groves blurred past, then cane fields, then nothing but dust and sky. The airfield was little more than a landing strip and a hangar, rusted and open to the wind. She spotted him near a parked Cessna. No guards, no bravado, just Samuel. He saw her and didn't run. "I knew it'd be you," he said. She raised her pistol. "You could have built something real. Instead, you played at power with borrowed bones." He stepped closer, unarmed. "You think you're justice? You're just another ghost with a gun." "No," she said, "I'm the reminder." She fired once. His body dropped, soft and final against the dirt. No speeches, no last words, just silence. Back at the safe house, Alicia sat up slowly as she entered. "It's done," La Vibera said. Alicia nodded, tears falling soundlessly. "You're leaving again, aren't you?" "I have to," Alicia tried to smile. "You'll always be the storm they never saw coming." La Vibera turned toward the door, the sun rising behind her. "Some legends don't die. They just go quiet until they're needed again."